organization had never been strong in Virginia's independent cities, and beginning in the 1960s, city and suburban factions increasingly supported efforts to make broad changes in Virginia. In this climate, the Republican Party of Virginia began making inroads. Rulings by both state and federal courts that massive resistance was unconstitutional and a move to compliance with the court orders in early 1959 by Governor J. Lindsay Almond, and the General Assembly could be described as marking the Byrd organization's last stand, although the remnants of the organization continued to wield power for a few years longer. When Senator Byrd resigned in 1965, he was replaced by his son Harry F. Byrd Jr. in the U.S. Senate. In 1969, however, the 80-year domination of Virginia politics by the Byrds ended with the election of Linwood Holton, a conservative Democrat who subsequently became a Republican and was re-elected in 1973, representing the first Republican governor had been elected in the 20th century. During the last quarter of the 20th century, Virginia's Republicans gained ground against the Democrats. Republican John Warner from Northern Virginia gained one of the seats in the U.S. Senate in 1978. After longtime state Senator L. Douglas Wilder became governor in 1989, the first African American to be elected a governor in the United States, Republicans subsequently gained control of the governor's mansion after the 1993 election. Republicans finally gained control of the General Assembly in the 1999 elections. For a number of years, the recurring Republican theme was to reduce waste in state government and taxes. However, this seemed to reach a peak during the administration of Jim Gilmore, with a move to repeal an unpopular car tax accompanied by a failure to provide promised replacement funds to the counties, cities and towns. Subsequently, 2 Democrats were elected consecutively as governor, and control in the General Assembly shifted back to a more bipartisan balance of power. As governor, both Mark Warner and Tim Kaine were confronted with stabilizing state economics and dealing with a deteriorating transportation funding situation partially caused by the state's failure to index state fuel taxes to inflation, with a cents per gallon tax rate unchanged since the administration of Democratic Governor Gerald Baliles in 1986. 21st Century Politics, edit. In the 21st century, Northern Virginia is known for becoming increasingly favorable to the Democratic Party at both the state and national level. Fairfax County supported John Kerry in the 2004 presidential election, and also voted heavily for Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential election, the first time a Democratic candidate for president carried the Commonwealth of Virginia since Lyndon Johnson in 1964. The area also voted for Democrats Jim Webb in 2006 for U.S. Senate, Tim Kaine in 2005 for governor, and Mark Warner in 2001 for governor. In these 3 races for statewide office, the margins tallied in Northern Virginia provided the Democratic candidate with a winning margin of victory. Democrat Jim Webb defeated incumbent Senator George Allen by the slim margin of 49.6 to 49.2% in 2006. However, that margin increased to 58.1 to 40.7% in favor of the Democratic challenger in the counties and cities of Northern Virginia, whereas Webb ran behind Allen somewhat, 46.1 to 52.7%, in the remainder of the Commonwealth. Webb carried Fairfax County, Prince William County, and Loudoun County, as well as the more urban areas of Arlington, Alexandria, and Falls Church. Allen's sole wins in Northern Virginia were the cities of Manassas and Manassas Park, winning the latter 2 only by the narrow margins of 3.54 and 2.38%, respectively. In the 2004 presidential election, 53% of Northern Virginia voters voted for John Kerry. the Democratic candidate, and 46% voted for George W. Bush, the Republican candidate. This contrasted with the rest of Virginia, which gave 43% to Kerry and 56% to Bush. Kerry also carried Fairfax County, the most populous county in Virginia, and Fairfax City, the first time those jurisdictions had voted Democratic since Johnson's national landslide in 1964. The strongest support in the area for the Democrats lies inside the Beltway, in Arlington, Alexandria, and parts of Fairfax County. The more distant areas, i.e., Loudoun County, Stafford County and Prince William County, historically have been more conservative. However, as they have increased in population, they have become more liberal. Both Mark Warner in 2001 and John Kerry in 2004 lost Loudoun and Prince William counties. Tim Kaine won Prince William County and Loudoun counties in 2005. Tim Kaine won Stafford County in 2018. In 2006, despite not polling as strongly as Mark Warner statewide, Democratic Senate candidate Jim Webb won both Loudoun and Prince William counties. In 2005, 65% of the voters of Northern Virginia voted for Democrat Tim Kaine for governor over Jerry Kilgore, who received only 32% of the vote, easily 14 points lower than George W. Bush's showing only a year earlier. The Democrats in Virginia also have made considerable gains in the Virginia House of Delegates, which helped turn both chambers of the state legislature to the Democrats. Since 2015, Democrats have flipped districts in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. in counties such as Stafford County, Prince William County, and Loudoun County. These flips have shown the changing demographics and voting bloc in these counties and the expansion of suburbanization in Northern Virginia. For example, the 28th district, a seat held by Republicans since 1984 in Stafford County and parts of Fredericksburg, and seat of former Republican Virginia Speaker of the House William J. Howell. 10 years ago, Republicans won the Virginia House of Delegates election with 74% of the vote in the district. In the 2019 election, Joshua G. Cole, a fierce Democrat and supporter of the Green New Deal, flipped the district by 4 points. Another district, the 2nd District, that encompasses Prince William County and Stafford County, was once a swing district held by both Republicans and Democrats. In 2017, Democrats flipped the district with 64% of the vote and was re-elected with 60% of the vote, with Jennifer Carroll Foy a supporter of the Equal Rights Amendment, which she passed this year with the new Democratic trifecta in the state. The 7th, 8th, the 10th, and the 11th congressional districts lie within Northern Virginia. As of 5/15/2023, the current representatives are: from the 8th District is Don Bayer, D. From the 7th District is Abigail Spanberger, D. From the 10th District is Jennifer Wexton, D. And the current representative from the 11th District is Jerry Connolly, D. 3 of 4 districts voted for Jim Webb in the 2006 Senate election. In the 2005 gubernatorial election, the entire region continued to move away from the Republicans. Fairfax County, Arlington County, the cities of Alexandria, Fairfax City, and Falls Church, and for the first time, Loudoun County and Prince William County, went to Tim Kaine, the Democratic candidate. The area continued to be more Democratic the closer it was to Washington, D.C., but Richmond resident Kaine was able to accomplish what Northern Virginian Mark Warner had been unable to do just 4 years earlier in 2001, carry Loudoun County and Prince William County, as well as win over 60% of the vote in Fairfax County. In 2008, economist Nancy Pfotenhauer, a spokesperson and advisor for the John McCain presidential campaign, created controversy by referring to the areas of Virginia not included in Northern Virginia as real Virginia, picking up on a Republican talking point that Sarah Palin promoted, namely that red states are the real America and more pro-America. Joe McCain, brother of John McCain, also called Arlington and Alexandria in Northern Virginia communist country. In the 2008 presidential election, the majority of Northern Virginia voters voted for Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama. Over 70% of registered voters in Arlington, Alexandria and Falls Church voted for Obama. Fairfax County, Loudoun County, Manassas and Prince William County also went to Obama, with Obama receiving 60% of the vote in Fairfax County compared to Republican candidate John McCain's 39%. Obama's win in Fairfax County, the most populous county in the state, marks the second time a Democrat has carried that county since the 1964 breakdown of Democratic predominance in the South, the other being the 2004 presidential elections when the county went to John Kerry. Obama's victory in Northern Virginia continues the trend of Northern Virginia favoring Democrats over Republicans. In the 2009 gubernatorial election, though Arlington, Alexandria, and Falls Church would back Democratic State Senator Craig Dietz in his unsuccessful run for governor, Republican former State Attorney General, and future Governor, Bob McDonnell, who overwhelmingly defeated Dietz 59 to 41% across the state as a whole, won Fairfax County, Loudoun County, Stafford County, Manassas, and Prince William County. However, a January 2010 special state Senate election in the Fairfax County-based 37th State Senatorial District, which was held following Ken Cuccinelli's resignation from the Senate of Virginia upon his election as State Attorney General 2 months earlier, was won by then-Delegate David W. Marston, D. Marston's victory would suggest that despite McDonnell's performance in Northern Virginia during the 2009 gubernatorial election, the Democratic trend in the region has not been reversed. In 2011, a poll by the Washington Post found that 47% of Virginians favored the legalization of same-sex marriage, 43% opposed it, and 10% had no opinion. It found 55% favored allowing same-sex couples to adopt children, while 35% opposed that and 10% had no opinion. The same poll found that 64% of residents Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax County support same-sex marriage, 63% of residents of Loudoun, Prince William, Manassas Park, Stafford, Fauquier, Culpeper, Madison, Rappahannock, Warrenton, Clark County, Frederick, and Winchester support same-sex marriage, while only 42% of the rest of Virginia supports same-sex marriage. Arlington, Clark, Culpeper, Fairfax, Fauquier, Frederick, Loudoun, Prince William, Rappahannock, Spotsylvania, Stafford, and Warren counties, as well as Alexandria, Falls Church, Fairfax, Fredericksburg, Manassas Park, and Winchester cities, form Northern Virginia's contribution to the Washington metropolitan area. Hillary Clinton received 849,758 votes compared to Donald Trump's 503,120 votes in the 12-county and 7-city region, a 63-37% split in the 2016 presidential election. Despite the 26% margin of victory for Clinton, 7 counties voted for Trump. This compares to Clinton's 825,974 votes to Trump's 236,827 votes, 78 to 22%, in Calvert, Charles, Frederick, Montgomery, and Prince George's counties in Maryland, as well as her 282,830 votes to his 12,723 votes, 96.4%, in Washington, D.C. Among the aforementioned counties in Maryland, Trump carried 2 of them. The entire Washington metropolitan area, all 17 counties and 7 cities in Maryland and Virginia, plus the District of Columbia, voted 1,958,562 ballots to 752,670 ballots, 72 to 28%, for Clinton and Trump, respectively. Compared to the entire state, Northern Virginia's 12 counties and 7 cities represent 36% of the total electorate. Culture, edit. Due to the proximity to the capital, many Northern Virginians go to Washington, D.C., for cultural outings and nightlife. The Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., is a popular place for performances, as is Wolf Trap National Park for the performing arts near Vienna. Jiffy Lube Life, near Manassas, Eagle Bank Arena at George Mason University in Fairfax, and Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. serve as popular concert venues, and Capital One Arena also serves as the home of sporting events. Smithsonian museums also serve as local cultural institutions with easy proximity to Northern Virginia. The Udvar-Hazy Center of the National Air and Space Museum in Chantilly is also popular. Tyson's Corner Center, Tyson's Eye, is one of the largest malls in the country and is a hub for shopping in the area. Tyson's Galleria, Tyson's 2, its counterpart across Route 123, carries more high-end stores. Tyson's itself is the 12th largest business district in the United States. Other malls include Springfield Mall, Fair Oaks Mall, Manassas Mall, Spotsylvania Town Center, which has a mall and a mixed-use retail and commercial area, and the Fashion Center at Pentagon City. Dulles Town Center is the region's newest mall, serving the eastern Loudoun County area. Reston Town Center is a high-density mixed-use retail, commercial, and residential development located just off the 267 Toll Road in Reston. Potomac Mills, located in Prince William County, is the largest outlet mall in the region. The town of Leesburg in Loudoun County contains the Leesburg Corner Premium Outlets Outlet Mall. Recreation, edit. Northern Virginia is home to many activities for families and individuals, including biking /walking trails, sports leagues, recreation facilities, museums, historic homes, and parks. It is home to the Northern Virginia Swim League, which comprises 102 community pools, and NVSL Dive, which is composed of 47 teams in Fairfax and Arlington counties. The swim and dive teams compete over the course of 5-6 weeks from the end of June through the first weekend in August. The National Capital Area Council operates in the Washington metropolitan area. It serves localities in the Washington D.C. metropolitan area. In Northern Virginia, it has chapters and divisions that serve Fairfax County, Loudoun County, Prince William County, Stafford County, Arlington County, the City of Alexandria, and the City of Fairfax. It also serves Caroline County, the City of Fredericksburg, and Spotsylvania County. The National Capital Soccer League serves soccer leagues and associations in the Washington D.C. metropolitan area. It includes Northern Virginia soccer associations in Fairfax County, Loudoun County, Prince William County, Stafford County, Arlington County, the City of Fredericksburg, the City of Alexandria, the City of Fairfax, and one soccer association in Culpeper County, Winchester, and Warrenton. Secession, edit. Former Republican delegate Jeannie Reed of Arlights Davis expressed a common sentiment when she said the formula for funding school construction in Northern Virginia requires that we pay 500% more than the actual cost of a project. We have to pay 500% because we give 400% away to the rest of the state. The state government's funding level for transportation projects in Northern Virginia is a perennial issue that often causes consternation from the region's politicians and citizens. Many people consider the idea of secession a rhetorical one used to express frustration with the treatment of Northern Virginia by the state government as well as the opposing political sentiments between it and the rest of Virginia. Critics often point out that all states include regions of varying income and political discrepancies within their borders. Nevertheless, the Northern Virginia suburbs of Washington, D.C., are often seen as an extension of the more urbanized Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and the Boston-Washington corridor, even though Virginia as a whole is considered a southern state. This perception is especially fueled by the region's closeness to Washington, D.C., large numbers of northern transplants, and the prevalence of both new immigrant communities and growing ethnic diversity. Nevertheless, there is no serious secessionist movement. Transportation, edit. Main article, Transportation in Northern Virginia. Airports, edit. Further information, Dulles International Airport and Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. The area has two major airports, Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Crystal City, the nation's 23rd busiest airport by passenger traffic as of 2022 and the busiest airport in the Washington metropolitan area, and Dulles International Airport in Dulles. In both passenger loadings and aircraft movements, and the 16th busiest airport in the nation by takeoffs and landings in 2007. Dulles is the region's primary international gateway, serves as a hub for United Airlines, and has recently improved its low-cost carrier offerings with the addition of multiple flights by Southwest and JetBlue. Subway and passenger trains, edit. Further information, Virginia Railway Express and Washington Metro. Commuters are served by the Washington Metro Subway and the Virginia Railway Express, VRE, a commuter railroad. Metro is the second busiest subway system in the nation after the New York City subway system. A completed expansion project extends the system past Dulles International Airport into Loudoun County. The VRE has two lines adjacent to I-66 and I-95 starting in Union Station and extending to Manassas and Spotsylvania, respectively. VRE service is significantly more limited, but nevertheless saw over a year of continuous ridership increase from 2007 into 2008. Bus service is provided by Marta's Metrobus and several local jurisdictions. Highways, edit. The Washington metropolitan area has the worst traffic in the nation, and Northern Virginia is home to 6 of the 10 worst bottlenecks.
Good. That was a long read. Sound like a very expensive area to live in. It's 4 p.m. and I think the stock market opened New York City 3 p.m. Then now it's a Black Monday. It's a stock market crash in the United States. I need to charge my camcorder. I took the heating off for the last 2 days. So I don't have heating on, so we need to keep this heating into my living room because the heating is off. It's off and it's just start of months. It's still freezing cold outside in the night. But this heating this heating in my apartment is not getting out in the night. And in the night I sleep this one. No, I think if you have a little bit more than $2,000 after tax, you cannot really living anywhere in the United States, I think. So I have to go to a cheap area, but you can live in a sailboat, you can live in a small boat, and you have this Chesapeake Bay, but I have to look the map, can do that in the evening. Look the coast of Virginia, we got big Chesapeake Bay, there's maybe many small harbor there. Or I need to go more south, maybe need to go to Mississippi, go to the Mississippi River and living on a boat on the Mississippi River. You maybe need to go away from this Atlantic coast. I think the whole this Atlantic coast is very expensive, all the way down to Florida. We need to go to this Mississippi River. But I would like to be on this coast, I think. We can read about the North Carolinas a little bit more south. So then we have alligators. You have this big American alligators in the water. In South Carolina and North Carolina, they have this swamp at the Atlantic coast. There's probably many alligators, but you have alligators in Mississippi River. They have big alligators.